Welcome to the Ignition Point. I'm Sean Finnegan.
Debbie Hart.
And we have our guest today, Devin Burr.
Mr. Burr himself.
Yeah, look at his necklace here, Mr. Burr.
In case people forget, I just tell them to look at this.
Yeah,
and you'll know my name.
Super honored to have you here. So he's big on TikTok, so you got to go check out his TikTok channel. It's insanely cool. What's the most views you've had on one video on TikTok?
15 million?
15 million.
Views on one video? What was the topic?
Yeah, what was the video?
So it was about when you buy a car, what you should never do. If you think about it, most people, when they hear never, they're like, never. That's kind of a bold statement.
That's a big word.
And everyone buys cars, right?
And now you kind of left us on a cliffhanger. We kind of not want to know now.
That's the whole thing about short form media is making a really strong hook so that people can stay, because the average person is going to scroll off within 3 seconds. So within 3 seconds, if you don't hook them somehow, you've lost them. So when you buy a car, you should never do this. That's 2 seconds.
That's impressive, because how do you build 15 million views off of a finance channel? You would think that's a boring topic, but you've obviously made it engaging and entertaining.
So a lot of it's just different camera angles, making it visually stimulating. So the first scene was showing my cars. When you buy a car, you should never do this. That's 2 seconds. So now they're thinking, well, I buy a car. What should I never do? The next scene is me holding a wad of cash. You should never pay cash for a car. And I slam it down on a desk. And then all the Dave Ramseys of the world, they're like, this guy's an idiot. So they start just texting away, which drives the algorithm. It's engagement. But most people don't know, if you pay cash, that cash's ability to grow for the rest of your life. It's called opportunity cost. The next scene is you should never lease a car, because then you just have a rental. And then all the people that are business owners, they think, oh, this guy's an idiot. Leasing a car for my business is so smart. Gets more of the algorithm going. Right. You should never finance a car, because then you're just paying interest to the bank. Then you get people commenting like, well, if I had all the money, I would just pay cash. They're so engaged within like 15 seconds. And then the next 45 seconds is when I lay out what you should do, the most efficient, smartest way to buy a car, which is a controversial way. So it gets more engagement. The thing just went gangbusters. I remember I made it, and before I pushed share, I'm like, this one's going to do really good. Some of them I know, I'm like, this one's going to do good.
Yeah.
Because I rewatch it, and then I'll be like, I didn't like that part. Let me change this. I'm all about angles with things. I used to bodybuild. So in bodybuilding, you can make your waist look smaller by turning your hips. You can make your chest look bigger by leaning forward, because the judges are below you.
That's what I've been doing wrong all this time. Got to do all this stuff.
So just every time you walk, just turn your hips
I need a bigger chest.
But your videos aren't just about hooks and aesthetics. You're teaching real life-changing content that make people more money.
But you're using the science behind that.
I love that.
I'm using the little tips that I know work for engagement, for it to go viral, but then I teach in it and then try to make it entertaining, because think about any kind of business, even through bad economies, entertainment businesses still do well because people want to be entertained. So if you can intertwine entertainment with education.
Edutainment,
Yeah, it's gonna do well. And then if you add in these different aspects of like, what's your good side on the camera?
It's a visual engagement as well.
It's an aesthetic. It's visually pleasing. And what I do is I always change the frame a lot. So instead of, if you see most people on social media, they're a talking head. You see them talk. So I got 15 million views. It's made me hundreds of thousands of dollars, just that one post.
One post made you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yeah. That's amazing.
What's the magic number? How long is the video?
60 seconds
60 seconds. You got to do all that within 60 seconds.
Yes.
Do you post the same content on the different platforms, or do you change your content based on the platform?
Same exact thing. I take the same exact thing and put it on all platforms. So I just try to make it evergreen everywhere.
So what is your main message for everybody?
Take back control of your money.
How?
See, most people, they give up control of their money unwillingly, right? Most people are W-2 employees. And before they even touch their money, once you've given money to Wall Street and once you've given money to the IRS, to the government, your money goes where? Direct deposited into a bank. What does the bank do with the money? They lend it out. They don't keep it at the bank. So think about this. If you put your money in the bank, they have to pay you 0.06%. It's not a lot, but they have to pay you that. Basic finance, there's a liability and an asset. Liability takes money out of your pocket. Asset puts money in your pocket. So to a bank, you putting money there is a liability. They have to pay you to keep your money there, right? How do they make that an asset? They loan it. So they think of money far different than America thinks of money. America thinks of money as a loan is a bad thing. The bank thinks of a loan as an asset. So what are they making?
That's a good gig, right?
Yeah.
What are they making?
Yeah.
They pay you one,
the
they make 4.
point.
They're making 3%?
Yeah.
That's wrong.
It's a much higher percentage.
Much higher.
Yeah.
Because they're turning 1% into 4. That's a 300%
That's right,
return.
yeah.
They are
Love that.
masters of making huge returns
Yeah.
because they are
They
masters
just
of
leverage all
control.
your money you're putting in the bank.
This is a quote by Will Rogers. The biggest problem in America is not what people don't know. It's what they think they know that just ain't so.
I
is
love
good
that
right
quote.
there.
So what do you teach them instead?
So I teach them how to take back control of that money by, instead of it going to the bank so that the bank controls it, I teach them how to become their own bank. So now if I'm my own bank and I can do exactly what the bank does, which again, the bank turns loans into an asset, they can now mimic the bank and make those huge returns. More control you have, the less risk you have. And now you can collateralize that money. So you can use that money as collateral to borrow to get a loan like the bank does, treat loans as assets. If I can collateralize that money and get a loan and now go make money with it, if I control this money at a cost, let's call that control cost. If I can control it at 5%, but I know I can take it and go make 15, I just mimicked exactly what the bank does. I turned 5 into 15. The whole time, my money is collateralized. So my money is still growing and compounding at the exact same time, tax-free. So get this, if it continues to grow and I can collateralize that whenever I want because I control it and it just keeps growing, what can I do? I can keep borrowing more. And if I can borrow more, what can I do outside of it? I can make more.
And the money's flowing right back to you.
And it's flowing right back to me.
Yeah.
It's total control. So I teach people how to take back that control of their money. And by doing that, they can become extremely wealthy over time by the power of compounding and the power of control.
So this is brilliant. Where did this start? What was your ignition point?
Oh, I like that. I like the drop, the ignition.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
it. That's advertising
I like
right there.
it. So where it started is COVID. So I was a real estate investor, new in the game, and I started doing real estate full time. Got my first deal January 13th. And then from January till March when COVID hit, I did 7 or maybe 8 real estate deals, 0 marketing. Just going to meetups, meeting people, making relationships, right? I was doing well. And then meetups went away because of COVID. So I'm sitting in my house trying to learn new things. I heard a podcast with this guy named Chris Noggle. I heard him on the podcast talking about becoming the bank. It really just made sense. I got to get on the phone with this guy, Chris. So I DM'd him on Instagram like, hey, we need to talk. I want to do one of these infinite banking things. I ended up doing it. By the end of that year of 2020, I had 4 of these policies, using them for all of my real estate. I'm just multiplying money by having full control. So I started telling everyone. I think one of the
You were
biggest...
kind of first on TikTok, right? It's like, hey.
That was my ignition point.
Right.
Basically, like I've learned in my life that when something cool happens, most people inherently want to share it. Or if something funny happens, right? It's just, that's how we are as humans. Funny things happen, cool things happen, amazing things happen. We want to share them. I had this amazing new tool that I learned how to really start amplifying and multiplying my money. So I'm sharing mom, dad, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles. Everyone's looking at me like I got 3 eyeballs and a tail. And then I get on social media. I make one post on TikTok. And it's me sitting in my car saying, here's how you get the money back for any car you'll ever buy, drive, and own. This was 6, 7 o'clock at night. I put my phone down. I get up early. I get up at like 4 a.m. I wake up, 17,000 followers.
Did you think you
that.
did you
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, what in the world? I had like 1,000 comments. I'm trying to go through all of them.
Viral.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like a lot of people are hating and a lot of people are like, this guy, he's a da-da-da.
Because
But
it's
then-
new information. People always resist change.
Right.
That's why it's controversial.
But then there was
outside of-
people that were like, how did you do that? How can I do it? So I just kept making
I
these
want in.
videos. Within a month, I had 150,000 followers. I'm telling you, 15, 20 people a day were asking me how to do what I was doing. So in my head, I'm like, yeah, just go to Chris Noggle. That's where I got mine. Chris Noggle, Chris Noggle, Chris Noggle. For like a week and a half, I'm sending this dude so much
And he's
business.
like, what just happened to me?
He's like, this
Yeah.
guy is awesome. After about a week, I'll never forget this. I'm in my backyard and I've got like a list on just like a piece of paper. I'm I'm writing it down, like all the names I'm going to send over to him. I read a book, The Go-Giver.
Oh, I love
Yeah,
that.
it's a great book.
Amazing book.
Yeah,
It's
it
in a
is.
story form.
Yep.
That book is incredible. It talks about give. You'll end up getting a lot in return.
Yeah.
So my thought process was just like, all right, well, these people want to do this. Let me just give them value. And week and a half goes by. I've got like 30 names written down. And it just dawns on me. These people are learning it from me. Why don't I just be Chris? So I hit up Chris. I'm like, dude, I got like 30 more people. He's like,
Yeah, bring it on.
and then I'm like, just out of curiosity, bro, is there a way we can maybe mutually benefit from this whole situation?
Right.
He's like, yeah, you could become an affiliate. I'll do that. Yeah. So March of 21, I got licensed and I've set up since then 1,600 policies.
Whoa.
Well, you can see, just
Yeah.
hearing the story, you can see where there's 15 million people that watch that one video
Need to
because
hear
they
that.
really want to understand this. They want to know.
I talk about this a lot is like people see success and they see it as like a linear thing that is a start and a end. They see where you're at now, but they didn't see everything in between. Everything in between is all the struggles, the kicks in the face,
The roller coaster ride, the ups, the
sleepless
downs.
nights.
Yeah.
Like they don't see that stuff. So I try to be as transparent with that as possible because I am nothing special. I barely graduated high school with a D average. And guys, I was cheating off of tests. Out of high school, I'm a very fun-loving person. I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's me inherently. And I think when you're young, you try to fit in by being something you're really not. So I was trying to fit in with the wrong crowds. I was wearing really baggy clothes, jerseys, sideways hats, had my ears pierced, my labrae pierced, started talking ghetto. At one point I had cornrows and I was wearing do-rags. I was not being the authentic me, which rubs people the wrong way when you're not authentically you. At 18 years old, I get jumped outside of a party by 6 guys. I was alone. I drive home drunk. I park in the driveway, get out of the car, walk into her house. Pop, 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 pop. My car got shot up. I was out of the car for less than a minute. A bullet hole went through my headrest. If I would have been sitting in that car for one more minute, I'd be a statistic. I would have died in 2003. And it was because of me. I wasn't being me. I was trying to change myself to fit in to people that now aren't even in my life. I'm not friends with any of those people. So why was I trying to fit in with them? I turned that around by literally moving out of the state. I had friends that were like, bro, let's retaliate. I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
done, yeah.
So I left Phoenix. Moved in with my sister in West Virginia for a year. Moved back because I was homesick and I missed my girlfriend. Moved back, lived with my dad. They didn't know where my dad lived. So it all died down. Through my 20s, searching for myself, had a daughter at 22, had probably 50 jobs, could not hold a job because I'm a horrible employee. Like you tell me what to do, I'm like, screw you.
Yep.
I'm doing it my way. Always good at my jobs, but horrible employee. 31 years old, had never worked on myself ever. I'm down to $300 to my name. Had to file bankruptcy. I was a full-time single dad at the time to my 9-year-old daughter. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. I could not afford the rent. Had to move out of that apartment, move in with a friend, rent a little room from him. To afford rent to him, I had to sell my bed, most of my belongings. Me and my daughter are sleeping on a mattress.
Yep.
People, when they see you
Been
driving
there.
your car now and see, they don't see that you're talking about
Yeah.
the journey piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They see
And
none of that.
I thought that was rock bottom. I had this woman that I was madly in love with. She broke my heart, ripped it out of my chest, broke it into a million pieces. My daughter was 9. I always shielded all my problems from her because I didn't want her to feel that like I was
Whatever,
struggling.
Normal kind of childhood.
Yeah, I didn't want her to feel like dad's struggling. I broke down in front of my daughter and ugly face crying, like couldn't speak. She's like, Daddy, what's wrong? Daddy, what's wrong? Because I'm crying, she's crying. And because I see her crying, I start crying harder. I'm losing it. I finally like get the strength to like ask her, am I a good dad? And I get so emotional thinking about this time because I had thoughts of suicide often. Yep. I thought I failed at every single thing in my life. I'm on the edge of this mattress. She lifts my chin up and she looks me straight in the eyes and said, you are the best daddy. That little 9-year-old girl saved my life. That changed my life from that point on, because I realized everything that was happening to me, getting shot at 18, 19 years old, jumping from job to job, being bankrupt, getting my heart broken over and over and over by women, was because of me. I didn't deserve anymore because I never worked on me. I was not worth having more. At that point, at 31 years old, I started reading every night. I'd read to her. We'd sleep in the same bed. I was reading to her. Craziest thing, within 1 month of that happening, I go on the first date with my now wife, November 27th.
Ooh, let's go. Wow. Let's go.
The only reason that happened is I was then worthy of her. And then I just kept working on myself. And now I don't think I've made it, because I don't think you should ever think you've made it, because that's when you start dying. I look at that person I was, same heart, same like aura, but unrecognizable. The mindset and like the wealth, the way I look at life. And the biggest advice I could give to anybody is life comes in seasons. Nothing lasts forever. I have a tattoo that says pain is temporary. It doesn't last.
Mr. Burr.
Yep.
That was amazing. I'm glad that we continued on because it was so powerful
That
and hit here,
was.
man. So
Yeah.
love you so much. What's the best way for them to follow you, people to follow you?
So I'm working on a website, devinburr.com, BURR. It's Mr._Burr with 4 R's.
Devin Burr, thank you, brother. Appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you,
Yes,
man.
thank you for coming on today.
Of course. Thank you, guys.
If any of you watching today have any doubts that your current CPA is not helping you take 100% advantage of the deductions you deserve and helping you stay compliant with the IRS, then don't hesitate to get involved with TaxHive today. You won't be disappointed.